OH&S amendment or additional video. I've pretty much covered the concept of OH&S, and it will be covered under supervision at work, as I'm legally compliant and need to be compliant. Now, I don't want to be sued by the government, go to jail. I could go to jail for many years if I was doing something wrong. Could be embezzlement, could be fraud, or it could be negligence of your workers, OH&S. So, in terms of OH&S, I've covered all areas. It will be written down as well, and you can also ask me. But since I know it back to front, I'm going to reiterate the most important things for OH&S. Okay, guys? So the first thing you need to know with OH&S is you look at a normal single-story home. You're on site. You're allowed to clean gutters, climbing up on a ladder. You're only allowed on a roof or high above 2.5 meters higher with a scaffold system or some sort of safety harness. So if you need to go up on those roofs that are 2.5 and higher, you need to take a tile off when you get up there, put the harness on you, and put the rope tied around that rafter or around that beam. Don't forget, I was a qualified chippy, not qualified chippy, but 11 uncles. We're all tag team in trade, like putting up frames. So I know what's there and what you need to be tying up to, and where you should and shouldn't walk. So if you're going 2.5 meters high and above, and you're working for me as my payroll system, then you need to remember these things in OH&S, okay? Now, I use this example of a house as a rule of thumb and a ruler. So, a single-story home to the gutter is around 3 meters in height. So you're allowed 2.5 meters up in the air and no higher. So you're allowed to climb up to the ladder and get to that gutter. Majority of homes you would see these days would be at a standard 3 meters. Go check it out. Get your ruler out at home. Get a piece of stick, whatever, and rule it out. Some of those old properties, or new, may have a downslope, or just the structure of the house may be 1.2 in height more of the stud. So a stud is like 3.2, whatnot. It might be 4.8. It might be just an extra bit longer, which means it could be 3.5, 4 meters in height, which means it's a bit taller than the gutter that is standard, right? So you will know the difference between a gutter that is 3 meters or 3.5, 4 meters. You'll see it stands out. The standard gutter size of a home from the feet on the ground to the touching up to the gutter is 3 meters. 2.5 rule. 2.5 meters you're only allowed up in the air on a ladder, or whatever it may be, balancing on whatever it is you're on, covered by work cover. If you're over that, I'm going to jail, or you are, depending on, not jail, but you're going to go to hospital because you've been an idiot, and I could be questioned of threatened of jail because I've forced you to climb up there. Is what they'll ask. No, I'm telling you in a video it's 2.5, and if WorkSafe tell you any different, I need to amend this and change it, or put in the comments. So remember that, to stay safe, guys, 2.5 is the law. If you feel that you can go up to 2.8 or 2.7, I think they might accept that or not, I'm not sure. As long as you're safe, guys. As long as you know what's behind you, around you, when you fall. If you do fall, or don't, you're not going to fall on something shit. Or that you're not too high up and you're on a stable platform, so to speak. 2.5 meter rule. Or you're allowed to go up there in a harness. For example, cherry pickers. I might get a cherry picker to chop a big tree, or a forklift to take you right, whatever it may be, whatever I can operate and do. So this is our property here. This property here is about 3.5. It's just a bit higher of the way the landscape structure is. But if this was a normal house down the street, it'd be from the ground up 2.5 meters. I won't say that again. Okay, 4 minutes just on hello, how are ya? OH&S 2.5 meter. The most important thing in that 4.30 seconds, 2.5 meters, not allowed any higher on feet. Okay, second thing is that you need to know is the harness factor and structure. You're allowed to go higher, yes, so long as by law it's covered under WorkSafe, okay? The other thing is you're allowed to go and do a job, example, cut a grass or do a nature strip, something very light duty. You're allowed to go on your own in your own car under my instructions without a supervisor. As soon as you're operating at high-end maintenance like a chainsaw, you're allowed to chop a tree on site. If you know your job is to come in and cut the grass, but the client just wants you to take one branch off that plum tree, then you're allowed to do that with that dangerous saw without supervision, as far as I've been told. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no right or wrong. It's about OH&S and staying safe. But legally, this is what I'm saying. Legally, you're allowed to go do that on your own. Mind you, you've got the people, maybe people there at the home or whatever, or someone around, or a second worker. But you are allowed to go out on your own under OH&S. This is important. If you think you could take on another job behind my back without me seeing, and throw a big tree in your boot and think I'm not going to see the weight, and then I get a phone call from the client saying he fucking did an extra job and he blah blah blah, fuck this and that, and I say, hang on, that wasn't the contract. Go back into like your position when you go to do a job. You got to take a screenshot of the whole place and one after, so I know no works have been done. Now if I find out something's been done behind the works, then it comes under my insurance. No, you're negligent. Okay, you're not supposed to do that without safety and without instructions and being quoted properly. If you've gone and quoted the job and done it behind my back to make $1, it wouldn't be just the dirtiest thing to do to somebody. It would not be honoured. But if something happens to you, then I'm going to get questioned and go to jail or not. That's why all this is implemented. Okay, I need to protect everyone's interest and keep you safe. So just bear in mind that if you're going to cut some tree like this and take it away, that's breaching the work safety. Taking one branch of a prune is fine, and cutting the grass. As soon as you start doing high-end works, gutter cleaning with wires hanging over and all the rest, and you made an extra $1 on the side, don't think it's going to come under my payroll system and I'm going to go to jail for you. Just remember that it's not just about money, it's about a lot of legality and a lot of concepts in this business. And it's very, very important to note that when you go and do a big job, for an example, gutter clean, or if you go chop a big tree, or if you've got to use a whippersnipper downhill, if it's a very unsafe sort of job, you need to be supervised, number one. Number two, it would be nice to have an additional worker to back you up, to get the job done safely, get out of there fast, and synchronize beautifully together, and look after each other's back. Like, I nearly got hit by a snake, but my worker protected me. He kept me safe. If my worker didn't see the tail of that snake, I was only half a meter away from it, I would have got snapped. 100% I'd be dead. Okay, so having a second worker is great. Looking after each other, team. There's no iron team, especially in Melbourne here. We don't have any discrimination. No discrimination, no harassment, no bullying, no policies, no political agendas, nothing. This is OH&S, guys. So remember, 2.5 meter, supervision, unsupervised, depending on the danger. Okay, just remember all this. All right, the other thing that you need to know is your PPE equipment is very important. Personal protective equipment, hats, glasses, gloves, the lot. Shoes, steel caps, gumboots, whatever. Raincoat and all the rest. If you need, we will buy it for you. But you must be wearing PPE whilst doing dangerous works. I will say this in final, OH&S. You can be a monkey of a gardener and really fucking hurt yourself. The way I was taught when I was 15 by the old Greek fella. Chop a tree straight onto the fucking fence, break it in half. There goes the aviary canopy, aviary for the 300 budgie birds inside flying away. And now we've got, and he's like, I'm not fixing shit, this is just, it's just the way it is, mate. No. You can work in a very dangerous environment safely. You've got data sheets with chemicals, data sheets with like a car. On a car, how much is the capacity it can hold, or what can and can't it do? Trailer, can it take a ton, half a ton, how much can it take? You know, and how do you operate that machinery to stay safe on high-end dangerous areas? So no monkey business, no sloppy slow looking. So I don't want you looking, I don't mind if you work slow in OH&S, this is important. You may need to rest your body, or you may want to just not go that hard. Fine, don't look like a fucking idiot going slow, sweeping the floors all day, going around in circles and not getting it done. I mean, still sweep the fucking floors fast or not, follow our procedures and follow suit, but just go slower, not slow, sloppy, stupid. Now if you go fast and you're going too fast, you want to check yourself before you wreck yourself and realize, I'm going too fast, either slow down or I've got this. I'm a boxer, I'm on my toes, I ain't gonna fall, and if I do, I'll get back up. Whatever your case is, okay? If you need to slow right down, then you fucking stop or drop the tool, you walk away. If you feel unsafe, you just drop everything and move back. Resign, I don't care. Keep safe, guys. Alright, so remember, you'll most likely be in teams. You will never most likely be on your own. You'll always be with like 2 or 4 or 5 men. Most likely 2 to 3. You may be 4 or 5 with you. But just remember, supervision, non-supervision. High-end work, supervised. Non-high work, not so supervised. Common sense, that's work safety. That's the law. The other thing is 2.5 meters, you're not allowed to go up unless you're harnessed or unless you're secured with some sort of machinery safe. Okay, you're allowed to work like so many hours in a day. So I can't have you back after a 24-hour period. I've worked you 12 hours. 2 hours later, I can't have you come back for another 12 hours. So there's laws in payroll, laws in like what you can and can't do. PPE, equipment, all that, just keep following back. Make sure you bring yourself a nice big bottle of frozen water and all that, food. We always go servos and that, don't stress, but your own food as well. You may want to put a few Band-Aids and Panadols and things like that into your work bag. We do have a small first aid kit, which the things that I think I need to have on site for when I'm in trouble, which will protect you. Okay, it might not be a fucking facade of a first aid kit with the picture. I built it up with my shit in there. All right, so it's not a first aid kit, but it's probably better than one in certain ways. Very important, guys, is to stay safe. There was one more thing that I would like to say. I slightly have forgotten and drifted off, and I'm sorry about this. Yeah, it's a very important factor. OH&S. There's a lot of areas in OH&S. There's the payroll side of it. Not really payroll, but more so like what you can do in hours. Logbook for drivers. All these sort of. We don't have logbooks. We're not truck drivers, but in terms of your hours and workload, you have to comply under that. Certain industries. I'm compliant in this big industry, and you'll be safe at all times. If I find that you've breached it in any way, you'll be fired on the spot instantly, without any warning, no matter where you go. On site, I don't care if it's in Queensland, Australia, if we're 1 hour away from warehouse, get your ass home, I don't care. If you are not following OH&S rules here and beyond, then your negligence is not my concern. I don't give a fucking shit. So just make sure you comply. Oh yeah, this is what I want to say. When I work safe and smart, right? Not silly, stupid. So when I operate, I can take on anything. When I do it and execute that job, I know what I'm doing. If I don't, I just fucking walk away. All right? You'll be trained like that. You'll be trained. This is a professional industry. You are going to be a qualified professional landscaper, arborist, gardener, maintenance, maintenance. These are qualified areas, guys, and they pay very good. OH&S, there'll be a lot of details in every video below as you go through the journey of these hours of videos, stating all the compliance that I may have missed in this video here, or also stating in writing that you'll need to initialize possibly at one stage or not. And that's it. OH&S, guys. I don't know what else to say about OH&S except the tools and fixtures. I'll show you how to keep safe with the tools in tools and fixtures. So OH&S amendment, please refer to tools and fixtures for safety. Payroll software, please refer to employment. OH&S, chopping a tree, cutting the lawn, whippersnipper, refer to those skill sets. OH&S follows through everything, guys, for everything. Okay, OH&S, discrimination, harassment, bullying, tolerances of political agendas and all sorts, threats, aggression, being aggressive with somebody and so on or whatever is not tolerated. Drugs and alcohol not tolerated. Although we don't mind a drink or a smoke or whatever, we've got to keep it real at some stage. We've got to keep it real, guys. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to come across a worker that's come across positive or negative in a drug test as I screen you as I wish, but you could be screened at any